The Hitch Hiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Episode 2. After being saved from certain death during the demolition of the Earth, Arthur Dent now faces the hopeless choice between meeting certain death in the vacuum of space or finding something pleasant to say about Vogon poetry.
Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 92 million miles is an utterly insignificant blue-green planet whose ape-descended lifeforms are so amazingly primitive that they still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea. This planet has, or had, a problem, which was this. Most of the people living on it were unhappy for pretty much most of the time. Many solutions were suggested for this problem, but most of these were largely concerned with the movements of small green pieces of paper, which is odd because, on the whole, it was not the small green pieces of paper which were unhappy. So the problem remained, and lots of people were mean, and most of them were miserable, even the ones with digital watches. Many were increasingly of the opinion that they'd all made a big mistake in coming down from the trees in the first place, and some radical people said that even the trees had been a bad move, and that no one should ever have left the oceans. And then one day, nearly 2,000 years after one man had been nailed to a tree for saying how great it would be if people were nice to each other for a change, a young girl sitting on her own in a small cafe in Rickmansworth suddenly realised what it was that had been going wrong all this time, and she finally knew how the world could be made a good and happy place. This time it was right, it would work, and no one would have to get nailed to anything. Sadly, however, before she could get out her iPhone to tweet anything, the Earth was unexpectedly demolished to make way for a new hyperspace bypass, and so the idea was lost forever.
The most apathetic bloody planet I've ever come across. No sympathy at all.
Meanwhile, Arthur Dent has escaped from the Earth in the company of a friend of his, who has unexpectedly turned out to be from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Betelgeuse. His name is Ford Prefect, for reasons which are unlikely to become clear again at the moment, and they are both in dead trouble with the captain of a Vogon spaceship.
So, Earthlings, I present you with this simple choice. Think very carefully, for you hold your very lives in your hands. Now choose. Either die in the vacuum of space, or tell me how good you thought my poem was.
I liked it.
What the?
Oh yes, I thought some of the metaphysical imagery was really particularly effective.
Yes?
Oh, and, some interesting rhythmic devices too, which seemed to, counterpoint. Yes, counterpoint the
counterpoint, the surrealism of the underlying metaphor of the
humanity.
Frivolity.
Oh, Gonity, sorry, of the poet's compassionate soul, which contrives through the medium of the verse structure
That's right.
to sublimate this, transcend that, and come to terms with the fundamental dichotomies of the other.
You tell him, Arthur.
And one is left with a profound and vivid insight into
whatever
it was the poem was about.
Well done, Arthur. That was very good.
So, what you are saying is that I write poetry because underneath my mean, callous, heartless exterior, I really just want to be loved. Is that right?
Well, I mean, yes. Don't we all? Deep down, underneath, you know?
No! No. You're completely wrong. I write poetry just to throw my mean, callous, heartless exterior into sharp relief. I'm going to throw you off the ship anyway. Guard, kindly take the prisoners to number 3 airlock and throw them out.
You can't just throw us off into deep space. We're trying to write a book.
Resistance is useless.
I don't want to die now. I've still got a headache. I don't want to go to heaven with a headache. I'd be all cross and wouldn't enjoy it.
You can't do this.
Why ever not, you puny creature?
Oh, why not? Why not? Does there have to be a reason for everything? Why not just let us go?
Counterpoint the surrealism of the underlying metaphor. Death is too good for them.
What is all this, Ford? I woke up this morning and thought I'd have a nice, quiet, relaxed day, do a bit of reading, brush the dog.
Okay.
It's now just over 4 in the afternoon, and I'm already being thrown out of an alien spaceship, some 5 light years away from the smoking remains of the Earth.
All right, just stop panicking.
Who said anything about panicking? This is still just culture shock. You wait until I've settled down in the situation and found my bearings a bit, then I'll start panicking.
Arthur, shut up. You're getting hysterical.
Resistance is useless.
Ah! Let go of me, you brute!
Don't worry, Arthur. I'll think of something.
Resistance is useless.
Oh, give it a rest.
Resistance is useless.
Do you really enjoy doing this sort of thing?
Resistance is... Hey, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, does it give you a full, satisfying life?
Full, satisfying life?
Yeah, stomping around, shouting, pushing people out of spaceships.
Oh, well, the hours are good.
Man, they'd have to be.
Ford, what the hell are you doing?
Go on, the hours are good, are they?
Yes, well, now that you come to mention it, I suppose some of the actual minutes are pretty lousy. Except some of the shouting I quite like. Resistance is...
Yes. You're good at that bit, we can tell. But if the rest of it is so lousy, then why do you do it? What is it? The boys? The leather? The gizmo?
Well, I don't know. I think I just sort of do it, really. You see, my auntie said that a spaceship guard was a good career choice for a young Vogon. You know, the uniform, the low-slung pistol holder, the mindless tedium.
Ford, this guy's half-throttling me!
Yeah, but try and understand his problem, Arthur. Here he is, poor lad. His entire life is spent running around, throwing people out of spaceships.
And shouting. Don't forget the shouting.
Yeah, and shouting, sure. And he doesn't even know why he's doing it.
Poignant. Very poignant.
Now you put it like that, I suppose.
Good lad.
Okay then, so what's the alternative?
Well, stop doing it, of course. Stand up for yourself.
Well, that doesn't sound that great to me.
No, wait a minute. That's just the start. There's more to it than that. You need to...
No, I think if it's all the same with you, I'd best stick to what I know, thanks. I'll just shove both of you two in the airlock, and then go and get on with another bit of shouting I've got to do.
Come on, now look.
Stop it!
Hang on, there's music and art and things to tell you about, yeah.
Resistance is useless. You see, if I keep this up, I can eventually get promoted to senior shouting officer. And there aren't usually many vacancies for non-shouting and non-pushing people about officers. So I really had best stick to what I know. But thanks for taking an interest. Bye now.
Stop! Don't do it!
Now listen, there's a whole world you don't know anything about. Here, how about this? Da-da-da-dum. Doesn't that stir anything in you?
No, but I'll tell my aunt what you said.
Potentially bright lad, I thought.
We're trapped now, aren't we?
Yes, we're trapped.
Well, didn't you think of anything?
Yeah?
Well?
Well, my plan rather involved us being on the other side of the airtight hatchway that just sealed behind us.
So what happens next?
Well, the hatchway in front of us will open automatically in a moment, and we'll shoot out into deep space and asphyxiate in about 30 seconds.
So this is it? We're going to die?
Yes. Except... no. Wait a minute. What's this switch?
What? Where?
No, I was only fooling. We're gonna die after all.
You know, it's at times like this, when I'm trapped in a Vogon airlock with a man from Beetlejuice and about to die of asphyxiation in deep space, that I really wish I'd listened to what my mother had told me when I was young.
Why, what did she tell you?
I don't know. I didn't listen.
Terrific.
Hitch Hikers' Guide to the Galaxy is a truly remarkable book. The introduction starts something like this. Space, it says, is big. Really big. You just wouldn't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. I mean, you may think it's a long way down the street to the chemist, but that's just peanuts compared to space. Listen, and so on. After a while, the style settles down a bit, and the book starts telling you things you actually need to know, like the fact that the fabulously beautiful planet Beth Selamin is now so worried about the cumulative erosion caused by 10 billion visiting tourists each year that any net imbalance between the amount you eat and the amount you excrete whilst on the planet is surgically removed from your body weight when you leave. So, every time you go to the lavatory there, it is vitally important to get a receipt. In the entry in which it talks about dying of asphyxiation, 30 seconds after being thrown out of a spaceship in deep space, it goes on to say that, what with space being the size it is, the chances of being picked up by another craft within those seconds are 2 to the power 73,595,361 to 1 against. Which, by a staggering coincidence, was also the telephone number of an Islington flat where Arthur once went to a very good party, had some very nice drink, with some very nice people, and met a very nice girl, whom he totally failed to get off with.
So there you are, you see. Working in local radio is quite rewarding. Terrible office environment. I often go in at the weekends to get things done.
Do you travel much, Arthur?
Not as much now. Most of our away jobs are done at the London office.
No. I mean, don't you just want to escape? Get away. Meet new cultures. Find a meaning of life, the universe and stuff.
Oh, yes. I've got a weekend booked at Southend next month. Now, would you like to top up? I'll go and get us a refill.
Hey, doll, is this guy boring you? Why don't you come and talk to me? I'm from another planet. Yeah.
Though the planet Earth, the Islington flat, and the telephone have all now been demolished, it is comforting to reflect that they are in some small way commemorated by the fact that 29 seconds later, Arthur and Ford were in fact rescued.
There you are. I told you I would think of something.
Oh, sure.
Great idea of mine. Find a passing spaceship and get rescued by it.
Oh, come off it. The chances against it were astronomical.
Hey, don't knock it, it worked. Where the hell are we?
Well, I hardly like to say this, but it looks like the seafront at Southend.
God, am I relieved to hear you say that.
Why?
Because I thought I must be going mad.
Perhaps we weren't rescued after all. Perhaps we died.
What's that meant to me?
When I was young, I used to have this nightmare about dying. I used to lie awake at night screaming. All my school friends went to heaven or hell, and I went to Southend.
Okay. Perhaps we'd better ask somebody what's going on. How about that man over there?
The one with the 5 heads crawling up the wall?
Yeah.
Sir? Excuse me. Excuse me. You know, Ford, if this is Southend, then there's something very odd about it.
What, you mean the way the sea stays as steady as a rock, but the buildings keep washing up and down? Yes, I thought that was odd.
2 to the power of 100,000 torn against and falling.
What was that?
I don't know, but it sounded like a measurement of probability.
What does it mean?
I don't know, but I definitely think we're on some sort of spaceship.
Then I can only presume we're not in the first-class compartment. Southend seems to be melting away. The stars are swirling. A dust bowl. Snow. My legs drifting off into the sunset. My left arm's disappeared. How am I going to operate my mobile phone now? Ford, you're turning into a penguin. Stop it.
2 to the power of 75,000 torn against and falling.
Hey, who are you? Where are you? What's going on? Is there any way of stopping it?
Please relax, you are perfectly safe.
That is not right. The point is I am now a perfectly safe penguin. And poor Arthur here is rapidly running out of limbs.
It's all right, I've got them back now.
2 to the power of 50,000 torn against and falling.
But they're a bit longer than I usually like them.
Is there anything you feel you ought to be telling us?
Welcome to the starship Heart of Gold. Please do not be alarmed by anything you see or hear around you. You're bound to feel some initial ill effects as you have been rescued from certain death at an improbability level of 2 to the power 267,709 to 1 against, possibly much higher. We are now cruising at a level of 2 to the power 25,000 to 1 against and falling. And we will be restoring normality as soon as we are sure what normal is anyway. Thank you. 2 to the power of 20,000 to 1 against and falling.
Arthur, this is fantastic. We've been picked up by a ship with a new infinite improbability drive. I mean, this is really incredible, Arthur. Arthur? What's happening?
Ford, there's an infinite number of monkeys out here who want to talk to us about this script for Hamlet they just worked out.
The infinite improbability drive is a wonderful new method of crossing interstellar distances in a few seconds, without all that tedious mucking about in hyperspace. The principles of generating small amounts of finite improbability by simply hooking the logic circuits of a Bambleweenie 57 sub-meson brain to an atomic vector plotter, suspended in a strong Brownian motion producer, say a nice hot cup of tea, were of course long since understood. Such generators were often used to break the ice at parties by making all the molecules in the hostess's undergarments simultaneously leap 1 foot to the left, in accordance with the theory of indeterminacy. Many respectable theoretical physicists said that they weren't going to stand for that sort of thing, partly because it was a debasement of science, but mostly because they didn't get invited to those sorts of parties. Another thing they couldn't stand was the perpetual failure they encountered in trying to construct a machine which could generate a stable, infinite improbability field needed to flip a spaceship between the furthest stars. And in the end, they grumpily announced that such a machine was virtually impossible. Then one day, a student who had been left to sweep up the lab after another particularly unsuccessful party found himself reasoning this way. If such a machine is virtually impossible, then it must logically have a finite improbability. So all I have to do in order to make one is to work out exactly how improbable it is, feed that figure into the finite generator, give it a fresh cup of really hot tea, and turn it on. The moment he did this, he was startled to discover that he had managed to create the long-sought-after infinite improbability generator out of thin air. It startled him even more when, just as he was awarded the Galactic Institute's Prize for Extreme Cleverness, he was lynched by a rampaging mob of respectable physicists who had finally realized the one thing they really couldn't stand was a smartass.
5 to 1 against and falling. 4 to 1 against and falling. 3 to 1. 2, 1. Probability factor of 1 to 1. We have normality. I repeat, we have normality. Anything else you still can't cope with is therefore your own problem.
Who are they, Trillian?
Oh, just a couple of guys we picked up in open space. Sector ZZ9, Plur Z Alpha.
Yeah, well, that's a very sweet thought, Trillian. But do you really think that's wise under the circumstances? I mean, here we are on the run and everything, with the police of half the galaxy after us, and you stopped to pick up Hitch Hikers? Okay, so 10 out of 10 for style, but minus several million for good thinking, eh?
Zaphod, they were floating unprotected in open space. You didn't want them to die, did you?
Well, no, not as such.
A second later, and they would have been dead.
So, if you'd taken a moment longer to think about it, the problem would have gone away, right?
Look, anyway, I didn't pick them up. The ship did it all by itself.
Say what?
Whilst we were in improbability drive.
That's incredible.
No, just very, very improbable. Look, don't worry about the aliens. They're just a couple of guys, I expect. I'll send the robot down to check them out. Hey, Marvin!
I think you ought to know I'm feeling very depressed.
Well, here's something to keep your mind off things.
It won't work. I have an exceptionally large mind.
Marvin.
All right then. What do you want me to do?
Go down to number 2 entry bay and bring the 2 aliens up here under surveillance.
Just that. I won't enjoy it.
She's not asking you to enjoy it. Just do it, will you?
All right, I'll do it.
Good. Great.
I'm not getting you down, am I?
No, Marvin. That's just fine. Really.
I wouldn't like to think I was getting you down.
No, don't worry about that. You just act as comes naturally, and everything will be fine.
Are you sure you don't mind?
No, it's all just part of life.
Life. Don't talk to me about life.
I don't think I can stand that robot much longer, Zaphod.
The Encyclopedia Galactica defines a robot as a mechanical apparatus designed to do the work of a man. The marketing division of the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation defines a robot as your plastic pal who's fun to be with. The Hitch Hikers Guide to the Galaxy defines the marketing division of the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation as a bunch of mindless jerks who'll be the first against the wall when the revolution comes, with a footnote to the effect that the editors would welcome applications for anyone interested in taking over the post of robotics correspondent. Curiously enough, an edition of the Encyclopedia Galactica that fell through a time warp from 1,000 years in the future defined the marketing division of the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation as a bunch of mindless jerks who were the first against the wall when the revolution came.
I think this ship is brand new, Arthur.
How can you tell? Have you got some exotic device for measuring the age of metal?
Nope, I just found the sales brochure lying on the floor. Yes, according to this, the universe can be yours for a mere 1 quilliard Altarian dollars.
Cheap?
Quilliard is a whole page full of noughts with a 1 at the beginning. Here we are, this is what I was after. Sensational new breakthrough in improbability physics. As the ship's drive reaches infinite improbability, it passes through every conceivable point in every conceivable universe, almost simultaneously. You select your own re-entry point. Be the envy of other major governments. I mean, wow. Arthur, this is big league stuff, you know.
It looks a hell of a lot better than that dingy Vogon ship. This is my idea of a spaceship. All gleaming white, flashing lights, everything. I wonder what will happen if I press this button.
Don't.
Oh.
What happened?
A sign lit up saying, please do not press this button again.
They make a big thing of the ship's cybernetics. A new generation of Sirius Cybernetic Corporation robots and computers, all with a new GPP feature.
GPP? What's that?
Well, it says genuine people personalities. God.
Sounds ghastly.
Yeah.
It is.
What?
Ghastly. It all is. Absolutely ghastly. Just don't even talk about it. Over this door, all the doors of this spacecraft of a cheerful and sunny disposition. It is their pleasure to open for you. and their satisfaction to close again with the knowledge of a job well done.
Gladly of service.
Hateful, isn't it? Come on, I've been ordered to take you up to the bridge. Here I am, brain the size of a planet, and they tell me to take you up to the bridge. Call that job satisfaction, 'cause I don't.
Yeah, excuse me, which government owns this ship?
You watch this door. It's about to open again. I can tell by the intolerable air of smoke it suddenly generates.
Please enjoy your trip through this door.
Come on.
Gladly of service.
Thank you, the marketing division of the Serious Cybernetics Corporation.
Which government owns this ship?
Let's build robots with genuine people personalities, they say. So you find it out with me. I'm the personality prototype. You can tell, can't you? I hate that door. I'm not getting you down, am I?
Oh, look, just which government owns this ship?
No government owns it. It's been stolen.
Stolen?
Stolen?
Who by?
Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Zaphod Beeblebrox?
Sorry, did I say something wrong? Pardon me for breathing, which I never do anyway, so I don't know why I bothered to say it. Oh God, I'm so depressed. Look, here's another one of those self-satisfying doors.
Please enjoy your trip through this door.
Life. Don't talk to me about life.
No one even mentioned it.
Really? Zaphod Beeblebrox?
And news reports brought to you here on the sub-ether waveband, broadcasting around the galaxy, around the clock. And we'll be saying a big hello to all intelligent life forms everywhere. And to everyone else, the secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. And of course, the big news story tonight is the sensational theft of the new improbability drive prototype ship by none other than Zaphod Beeblebrox. And the question everyone's asking is, has the big Z finally flipped? Beeblebrox, the man who invented the pan-galactic gargle blaster, ex-confidence trickster, one-time galactic president, once described by Eccentrica Columbus, the triple-breasted whore of Eroticon 6, as the best bang since the big one,
Give me
and
a
recently
break.
voted the worst-dressed sentient being in the universe for the 7th time running. Has he got an answer this time? We asked his private brain care specialist, Gag.
Hey, why'd you turn it off, Trillian?
Zaphod, I've just thought of something.
And is it really worth interrupting a broadcast about me?
Can we leave your ego out of this for a moment? This is important.
Hey, if there's anything more important than my ego around here, I want it caught and shot now.
We picked up those couple of guys in Sector...
Hey, what couple of guys?
The couple of guys we picked up earlier?
Oh yeah, those couple of guys.
We picked them up in Sector ZZ9, plural Z Alpha. Does that mean anything to you?
What? Sector ZZ9, plural Z Alpha?
Yes.
What does that Z mean?
Which one?
Any of them.
Would you mind looking at the galactic charts on the screen? Right there. Look, it's where you originally picked me up.
Hey, right. I don't believe it. How the hell did we come to be there?
Improbability drive. We pass through every point in the universe. You know that.
Yes, but picking them up there is just too strange a coincidence. I want to work this out. Computer?
Hi there.
Oh god.
This is Eddie, your shipboard computer. I want you to know that whatever your problem, I'm here to help you solve it.
Will you just shut up and work something out for me?
A probability forecast based on...
Improbability factors, yes.
Okay, fella, no problem. Did you guys know that on the planet Earth, most people's lives are governed by telephone numbers?
Telephone numbers?
They're on the way up here now, aren't they, with that bloody robot? Can we pick them up on any monitor cameras?
Of course.
And then, of course, I've got this terrible pain in all the dials down my left side.
Is that so?
Oh, yes. I mean, I've asked them to be replaced, but no one ever listens.
I can imagine.
Well. Zaphod Beeblebrox.
I don't believe it. This is just too amazing.
I think I'll wait in the cabin. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to be so unbelievably cool about it. It will flummox a Vogon snow lizard. Several million points out of 10 for style. Now, which is the most nonchalant chair to be discovered working in? Okay.
Please enjoy your trip through this door.
I suppose you'll want to see the aliens now. Do you want me to sit in the corner and rust? Or just fall to the base where I'm standing?
Just show them in, please, Marvin. Ford, hi. How are you? Glad you could drop in.
Hi, Zaphod. Great to see you. You're looking well. The extra arm suits you. Say, this is a great ship you've stolen.
Ford, you mean you know this person?
Know him? He's my... Oh, Zaphod, I'd like you to meet a great friend of mine, Arthur Dent. I saved him when his planet blew up.
Oh, sure. Hi, Arthur. Glad you could make it.
And Arthur, this is my...
We've met.
What?
Oh, have we? Ford, you never guess what I found.
What do you mean, we've met? This is Zaphod Beeblebrox from Beetlejuice 5, not bloody Martin Smith from Croydon.
I don't care. We've met, haven't we, Zaphod? Or should I say Phil?
What?
You'll, have to remind me. I have a terrible memory for faces. Ford.
It was at a party.
You go to parties?
Cool it, will you, Arthur?
A party 6 months ago on Earth. England. London. Islington.
Oh, hell yeah. That party.
What? Zaphod, you don't mean to say that you've been to that miserable little planet as well, do you?
No, of course not. Well, I may have just dropped in briefly, you know, like on my way somewhere.
And what, you didn't even think to look me up? Have you any idea how long I've been stuck there?
Hey man, I owed you money.
What is all this, Arthur?
At this party there was a girl. I'd had my eye on her for some weeks. Beautiful, charming, devastatingly intelligent. Everything I'd been saving myself up for. And just when I'd finally managed to get her for myself for a few tender moments, this friend of yours barges up and says, "Hey doll, is this guy boring you? Come and talk to me, I'm from a different planet." I never saw her again.
Zaphod?
Halford, you gotta admit, it does sound like me.
He only had the 2 arms and the 1 head and called himself Phil, but...
But you have to admit that he did actually turn out to be from a different planet, Arthur.
Good heavens, it's her! Tricia Macmillan, what are you doing here?
Same as you, Arthur. I hitched a ride. After all, with a degree in maths and another in astrophysics, it was either that or back to the Dolky on Monday.
God, Ford, this is Trillian. Hi, Trillian, this is my semi-cousin Ford, who shares 3 of the same mothers as me. Hi, Trillian, is this sort of thing gonna happen every time we use the infinite improbability drive?
Very probably, I'm afraid.
Zaphod Beeblebrox, this is a very large drink. Hi.
Will our heroes be able to enjoy a nice, relaxed evening at last? How will they cope with their new social roles? Will they survive the deadly missile attack which will be launched on them 3 minutes into the next episode? Find out in next week's exciting instalment of The Hitch Hikers' Guide to the Galaxy.
Hi there, this is Eddie, your shipboard computer, and I just want to mention that we are now moving into orbit around the legendary planet of Magrathea. Sorry to interrupt your social evening. Have a good time.